Thank you. Welcome. I'm going to just start by saying I'm going to echo my ranking member here, how deeply troubling it is that the Trump administration is dismantling the Department of Education, an agency that was established by Congress, and you're blatantly disregarding the funding priorities we set in the 2025 budget without our consultation or agreement. I'm going to move on. I speak to you today, not just as a member of Congress, but I'm also a mother and a grandmother, and I share the values of millions of Americans who believe that educating our children is one of our most sacred responsibilities. So I have a few questions. I'm going to help answer them, and then I have a big one for you at the end. So my first question to myself is, why should we have a strong public education system? And the answer to that is because when we educate our children, we invest in their future and ours. A quality public education empowers children with the knowledge, skills, and confidence to pursue their dreams. It opens the doors to better jobs, higher earnings, and more fulfilling lives. It fuels economic growth and strengthens our democracy. Now, let me be clear. I am not opposed to parents using their own money to send their children to private school, but it is a strong public school education system that ensures that every child, no matter their background or zip code, has a fair shot at success. So my next question for me is, should education only be a state issue? And I answer no, because education is not just a state issue. It's a national responsibility, one that requires a shared commitment from local, state, and federal governments and from civil society. Federal support helps close the gaps, enforce civil rights, and ensure all schools have the resources they need. Without it, those gaps will only grow wider. And while the states administer education policy and local control is important, it's the federal oversight that guarantees fairness, accountability, and equal opportunity. From desegregating schools to supporting students with disabilities to protecting children from discrimination based on race and sex, disability, national origin, or shared ancestry, the federal government has played a vital role. And that's why I strongly object to this administration's effort to dilute funding for the Office of Civil Rights, the very agency tasked with enforcing those protections. And my next question, which I will answer, is the claim that public schools are failing our children a false narrative? And that answer is yes. A child's ability to learn is shaped by more than what happens in the classroom. It's shaped by a lot of factors, including access to early education, food security, health care, family engagement. And this administration, with the Republicans, are attacking all of it, slashing food assistance, driving up costs with chaotic tariffs, cutting health care costs for our most vulnerable children and families. Can you believe a hungry children does not learn? I don't care what school they're in. And did you know, or do I know? Yes, I know. There are hundreds of thousands of children on waiting lists to get into Head Start, a proven program that leads to a child's success in school. And in my home county, Palm Beach, where the president lives, millions in education funding in the 2025 budget are being illegally held, which means our school district's going to be forced to cut tutoring, after-school summer programs, social services, college readiness, teacher trainings, and student aid for college students are going to be gone. So my next question is the Trump administration shifting money out of public schools into unregulated private institutions? That answer is yes. You're cutting billions from public schools and pushing a new scheme, this tax scheme. Here's how it works. Wealthy donors give money to private scholarship groups, and then that money gets right back to them through a special tax break. So in the end, the taxpayers are paying the bill. There's no oversight. There's no accountability. Madam Secretary, 90% of our children attend public schools. So I ask you, is your final mission to get rid of the United States Department of Education cruel and foolish? Oh, yes, I'm going to answer that. Yes, it is cruel and foolish, but I have a question for you. If Congress refuses to go along with your misguided plan to dismantle public education, will you commit to spending the money we appropriate in the 2026 budget as directed by law?
Well, that was a lot to unpack. But
Well,
thank you
just
very
answer
much.
that last question if you could, because you have 2 seconds.
We will abide by the law.
Good answer. Thank you. I yield back.